Get ready for the dictation. 5 seconds. Start. Honorable Speaker, respected members of this esteemed House, and my fellow citizens, I rise today to speak on an issue of paramount importance, the Women's Reservation Bill. This bill is not just about political representation, it is about justice, equality, and recognizing the invaluable contributions of women in shaping the destiny of our nation. For far too long, women have remained underrepresented in the legislative process despite their critical role in building and strengthening our society. The passage of this bill will mark a historic step toward correcting this imbalance and ensuring that women have a rightful place in decision making at the highest levels. Women constitute nearly half of India's population, yet their representation in parliament and state assemblies remain dismally low. Despite their increasing participation in all spheres of life, be it education, business, science, or social movements, their presence in legislative bodies has remained minimal. While India has produced exemplary women leaders who have left an indelible mark on our history, these instances are exceptions rather than the norm. This bill seeks to change that by reserving 33% of seats in the Lok Sabha and state assemblies for women, ensuring that their voices are not just heard but actively shape policies and governance. The need for this bill arises from deep seated structural and social barriers that have historically prevented women from entering politics. Political parties often hesitate to give tickets to women, citing their lower chances of winning. Even when women do enter politics, they face systematic discrimination, fewer resources, and cultural biases that hinder their progress. This bill is not about favoring one gender over another, rather, it is about leveling the playing field. It is about ensuring that women who have been historically excluded from the highest decision making bodies finally get the representation they deserve. Critics of the Women's Reservation Bill argue that political participation should be based on merit and not on quotas. However, this argument fails to acknowledge the ground realities. If merit alone were the determining factor, why do we not see more women in parliament and state assemblies today? The truth is that societal biases, financial constraints, and institutional roadblocks prevent women from even contesting elections. Reservation is a necessary step to break this cycle of exclusion and create an environment where women can participate in politics without facing systematic disadvantages. The impact of women's participation in governance is well documented. Numerous studies have shown that when women are in leadership roles, they bring fresh perspectives, prioritize social issues, and focus on policies that benefit the larger population. Women leaders have been instrumental in driving progress in education, healthcare, child welfare, and economic empowerment. At the grassroots level, the reservation of seats for women in Panchayati Raj institutions have yielded remarkable results. Women sarpanches and council members have spearheaded developmental projects, improved public service delivery, and fought against social evils such as child marriage and gender based violence. If women can bring such transformative changes at the village level, imagine the impact they can have at the national and state levels. This bill is not just about increasing the number of women in parliament and assemblies, it is about changing the very nature of governance. Greater representation of women will lead to more inclusive and holistic policy making. Women leaders are more likely to focus on issues that directly affect families, children, and marginalized communities. They have been proven to be more transparent, accountable, and development oriented. By passing this bill, we are not only ensuring gender equality but also strengthening the democratic fabric of our nation. One of the key concerns raised by critics is the possibility of male politicians using women as proxies, fielding their wives, daughters, or relatives to maintain control over political power. While this is a legitimate concern, it should not be an excuse to deny women their rightful representation. Over time, as more women enter politics, gain experience, and assert their leadership, they will establish their independent political identities. Moreover, this issue is not unique to women. Dynastic politics is prevalent across genders, and the answer lies in strengthening democratic institutions rather than denying women political space. Another crucial aspect of the Women's Reservation Bill is its intersectionality. Women in India are not a homogeneous group, they come from diverse backgrounds, castes, religions, and socio-economic conditions. It is imperative that this reservation benefits women from all sections of society, especially those from marginalized communities such as scheduled castes, scheduled tribes, and other backward classes. True empowerment will be achieved only when the most disadvantaged women get a seat at the table and a voice in decision making. For decades, this bill has been caught in political deadlock, introduced multiple times but never passed due to various objections and lack of consensus. It is a matter of national concern that despite overwhelming support from civil society and women's rights activists, successive governments have failed to enact this historic legislation. Stop.